Yes, it is TGIF, everyone. I know it feels like a long week, doesn't it? Hi AJ, Bran, Kman, how are you, bro? Ingmar, thank you. Bran, may be a good day not to do anything. I don't know how the team feels about it, but I try not to trade when physically I'm not doing real well. You don't need more stress. Let your body heal, you know? Anyway, hi, Payman, James. All right, bro. All right, so another negative week in the dollar, right? Had a few of them. I still see no reason to, want to buy it. Okay, so let's take a look at where we are. So here we are, U.S. dollar index. It's trying to put in a little candle here. It's over. It's starting to get oversold. But I wouldn't really worry about the dollar turning good unless we start getting back above 101. Okay. 101, 100, getting back over par. At the most I would give it would be par 50. I'm not going to sit with this. The bulls would say this was the first part of the wave, and then this is, B or two, and maybe we're going to get three. I don't see it that way yet. Canada still looks pretty negative to me, but it looks like we're trying to get some candles here. Did some news just break? Because, well,
Um, yeah, you missed
If
Dale.
I
There's
if I
Kman, you want to brief Dale?
go ahead, buddy. What happened?
go, Blake, go.
I'll start with the China. Well, first of all, there's True Social posts. One of them against the EU. What was the other one? Let's see, the EU,
Apple.
and
Oh,
what? Oh, Apple. It
The
was
first
Apple.
one
Yeah.
was Apple.
oh yeah, I saw Apple getting smashed in the pre-market, but the S&Ps were only down like, I don't know, 9 or 10. Now I see they're almost down 100.
Yeah, because he hit the EU with, telling them how they've
All
been
right.
treating us unfairly and blah, blah, blah. But just before that, he was talking about Apple and, so Apple's down pre-market and, maybe tariff, going to look to tariff from 30%. And, there's, fast and furious right now, Dale. And I mean, the moves that we're seeing, God, what a great time to be a trader. Huh, K-Man? Huh, Dale?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, except I don't see the markets for about 15 minutes prior to going live because I have that cover over it, and I'm just, waiting until the top of the hour. So, I don't see the markets, but wow. Um, yeah, Bitcoin too, everything. So, maybe this is how we get wave two. Blake, I know a lot of people are only looking for something pretty shallow here. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Pretty ugly week.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's a
so
breakdown of the wedge, right? And now we're below the 200 DMA. That's
yeah,
the
look at that.
yeah, that's the big thing now. So
So we'll see. There are some people um, that are looking for new lows. There's a lot of people thinking that we wouldn't even get underneath 5,800 or 57. So I'm not going to go with either extreme. And this is what I was thinking last night, and this is kind of confirming it. I'm looking for, dollar goes to 96 and a half. That's also, part of it. The bonds kind of turned yesterday and they're up today, like there's economic weakness popping in. But how about 61.8 back towards 52? And then we make another run. So that's just something I'm thinking about there. Yeah, you're going to do pretty well on Apple. I mean, it's down 6 or so. Oh,
my
now it's
puts are for
8.
September, and I'm
Yeah.
holding on to them. I plan on holding those all summer long. So
Yeah, looking for 150 here.
yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, so let's see if they get to some of the things that have been holding up better would be the semis. Let's see how Nvidia's affected. They're taking everything now. That's down 3. Here's my biggest short. Okay, and I did it um because of this formation, right? I remember I had
That's a really nice what do they what that's a megaphone. I love
yeah,
it.
and it's
Yeah.
a 3 drive. And I
Yeah. Oh
remember
yeah.
I had James O'Connell on who won the National Trading Championship, and it was in the middle of the Liberation Day or a few days after. And he said, "Well, he's a good trader. He won that last year. He said I'm long Uber. So I took a look at Uber. He said I'm buying
And you're like, I'm
stocks.
going to take the other side of that.
No, it was like his
Oh,
rationale was good. It's a stock that wasn't affected by tariffs, right? So a lot of people during that time piled into it. So I just think it's a pretty big long. And
and God, Dale, I'm going to say bullshit. Bullshit.
what
People,
what?
it will be affected by tariffs. I am not
Oh,
paying
okay.
Uber prices. I,
There, there, there,
I'm
there.
getting, no,
That,
no, you take Waymos, man. It's like a
that's
quarter
what
the
I mean.
price.
That's
Yeah.
why. All right, that's another narrative. Ben called and said on his way back from his daughter's graduation in Madison, he's looking at a bill from Uber. They charge you to make the reservation. It's even twice as much as Lyft. So,
It's ridiculous.
I don't know how they're gonna, if people start really pinching pennies, why are they going to pay twice as much just because they know the brand better?
Hell no.
All right.
I'm taking Waymos, and then I don't have to deal with some weirdo driving me around trying to talk to me and my family.
It
I just take a car that doesn't it's autonomous and it doesn't have anybody in it. So
is
it's
it
great.
cheaper? Is it
Oh yeah.
cheaper?
Yeah,
Half?
it's like a quarter of the price. At least where I
Okay.
live. Yeah.
Okay, so all right. Anyway, that's my biggest short. And I don't know, have the bonds bottomed? I mean, this action in the last couple of days, I don't know how they'll finish today. Maybe they'll get even more of a bid. But look at that. So I had this line drawn and I was looking for like 83 and a half. But, we could have broken down. We're above the breakout. This even looks better. I mean, we had divergence up here on a 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Rates are coming down. And I don't know that I think that rates coming down this time is going to be bearish risk, not just like the dollar going down is bearish risk in the US. So I think rates turn this week, right? Whenever, how classic they turn on the downgrade. So that's all I have. Let's see. Yeah.
Do you mind if I take over the
No, you go
charts and
ahead. You sound more
show some
pumped.
stuff? I'm going to
You're
bring
more
in
pumped.
Kman here because we got a lot to talk about this morning. Get rid of this. So as far as the S&P goes, one of the things that I want to just point out is we are below those highs, back here in March. But take a look at the 200-day coming out of the ascending wedge. We're now below the 200 DMA. I think that major support's going to be here. Well, you got a couple levels, right? You got the 24% retracement, ultimately the 38% retracement, the 5,500 level. That's the level that I'm looking to cover, and I might even be long. I mean, I know it's tough when you're dealing with a day like today, where headlines about Apple, EU, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, do I really want to be long? Yeah, but that's today. Let's fast forward to like next Tuesday or Wednesday, and we're trading at 5,500. We might have a different tone. It might be like, oh, look, Trump's playing nice with China, and and that might be the reason why we actually are being long down here. I know it's hard to say on a day like today with headlines coming all over the, just coming all over the place. But I want to point out like some of the big moves that we've seen in currencies. I actually just got out of all of my euro longs this morning before the spike and before obviously all these headlines about the EU. So if you guys want to know exactly what positions I'm taking off and putting on, you can see I closed the euro at 113.46. I closed sterling at 134.97 this morning. And guys, the reason why I'm saying all this is because we have the liberation offer, which we're going to be removing. So we've backed up our prices about 5 years. So as tariffs take hold, we wanted to make sure that we did our part and we lowered our prices by 40%. 40%. That's $3 a day. So take advantage of the liberation offer right now. And then that's all I'm going to say about that. Kman, I want to bring you in because I want to understand how you feel as you've been watching the markets all freaking morning and all of a sudden, and all day, and all of a sudden, you're hit with Donald Trump is awake and tweeting. So how do you feel about everything that's happening this morning?
I feel absolutely gorgeous. No, I'm
Sorry. Go ahead. Oh, we
again.
lost you. Okay, there you go.
I know I'm getting cut off of the flow show. It's started again. Yeah, obviously it threw the whole market around because the dollar was very, very offered. I was going to say yesterday, as the yields topped out, it seemed to have been a signal to sell dollars again, and was wondering if there's not some kind of a program that goes on, because if you look at it yesterday, we came to levels in a lot of dollar pairs that were extremely interesting. You look at the euro, stopped at 112.50, 70. Cable stopped just under 134. 3 attempts yesterday or the day before in cable to break back below 134 got bought. Aussie dollar ditto under 64, and it was virtually the same on most of the dollar pairs. And then we got the reversal again as soon as the yields reversed. So obviously now this pattern has been broken because of the Trump's Truth Social bombing. But still, if you look at the euro got a hit. Yen and Swiss doing obviously well.
Okay, man, we just lost you there. Like your mic keeps going out,
Yeah,
like it
I
was
know,
doing.
but
It's weird.
I haven't changed anything. And okay, so Trump's Truth Social posts may have weighed very hard on the euro, but the rest is still relatively holding up. So yen and Swiss obviously strong, but apart from that, if you look at the cable, we're just 20-30 points of the highs. I still think that overall this dollar is not looking too good for me, but you need to be very careful which currency you put against it. Maybe the euro is still not the best of currencies.
Right. It's not one size fits all. Everybody believes that, oh shit, the dollar's getting hit or the dollar's rallying. I should just blindly just start buying everything. This is a real, you have to be really specific on what you're buying or selling in this environment. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, and I just seen an article in Bloomberg talking about the European Union's trade chief, Sefcovic. He's supposed to have I posted it in the. Did I post it in? Yeah, I posted it in our newsroom. He's supposed to have a call with Greer today. So I'm thinking Trump's through social post, maybe just to put pressure on those discussions. Maybe not a coincidence, that this drops today. So we will hear from those two as well, probably later in your day. But I think it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, and it is a crazy market. And I was just, here, I want to just kind of highlight something I was just saying. This is before these Truth Social post came out. So things look a little bit different than they did a half an hour ago. But whoops, the general chat, where am I at? Let me make sure I'm, yeah, we are all talking, obviously posting what was said on Truth Social, talking all about it. But I want to just highlight something that I said, just so everybody can read this. All right. All right. I pointed out, I said, but no one wants to own US dollars while Trump is at the wheel. Too much risk to hold dollars at these levels. And that's when, that was as I was selling the euro around the 113 level. Obviously, after these headlines, the euro slumped 50 pips. But so I wanted to make the point. So you can, not love the euro, love the sterling, whatever. It doesn't matter. The dollar is the dirtiest shirt in the closet right now. And until the euro gets to 120 or so, maybe, just maybe, people will look around and say, what the hell am I paying up for the euro up at these levels? And so even though the euro's hit right now, it's down at 113, I'm still looking for levels to be buying the euro and buying sterling.
Concur.
Not today. Today is not the day to be buying euros, in my opinion, not after what just happened. But
Yeah.
fast forward a week from now, we're going to be going, okay, I don't want the risk of owning dollars. There's too much risk here. How can I be a manager of money and a risk manager and have too many dollars in my portfolio when one tweet, one Truth Social post, and I'm upended like by percentage points. I just can't do it. So people are going to continue to diversify out of the dollar. And as Kman just said, cable looks good. I just bought sterling just a little bit ago and I sold dollars. I'm not buying euros. I'm buying sterling. You have to be specific
Yeah,
in,
that's what
in
I
what you're
do.
buying, right?
Well,
Sorry,
yeah,
Kman.
well, I mean, it's not the best of trades right now. I'm short dollars as well. I mean, I'm long cable, got a bit of Aussie, even long a bit of gold again as well from yesterday. Euro is still not my favorite. That's why we always say like watch the other side of a currency, the other side. That's where you can put yourself in the best position, because look at, for instance, euro has lost 60 pips or so, but the cable only lost like 30 or even not 25 or so. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's the choice to make.
And look at cable actually breaking out. I mean, we're breaking major
Oh, yeah.
resistance right now. So this is one that's capped us for a long time. I've been on our daily shows. I'm like, look, this is not and this is on the the Morning Edge with Steve and on the daily roundup. I'm like, this is not the best example of a cup and handle pattern, because usually you want a bigger base like formed, big this is more of a V bottom. But if you're short cable, and I actually even tweeted about this yesterday. I mean, if you've been short cable the last month, you are not getting paid. It was only a matter of time before we broke out. Today, I didn't expect the breakout early this morning when I tweeted that yesterday, but I was expecting a breakout within the next week. People are going to get frustrated and get out of the sterling. But if you look at this type of move, and I'm just going to do a quick um, analysis here. Sterling should eventually reach 145. There you go. I mean, that's what should happen. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, and I'm not going to say it's going to happen over the course of, the next week or two, but I think over time, we're looking at, sterling trading up in the, people are going to be looking for alternatives. Where do I want to be? I need to get out of dollars, and where the hell do I want to be? And I think Sterling Aussie, as K-Man's pointing out, could be a good place as well. So Dale, wait, real quick, Dale. So how do you feel about the currency market at this point? I know you love to look at the dollar. I know you like me feel like the dollar is going into the much lower levels from here. But how do you feel about it at this point?
Yeah, that you fade that news and keep selling um, dollar rallies unless we start against. I think you could tighten it up maybe even over 99.80. I wouldn't want to see par again, but
Yeah.
we're halfway to my target. The high was 101.5, recent low ballpark, let's call it 99. So that's 250. 250 from here gives me 96.5, which is about 100 under the May low.
Which
And
is that long-term trend line comes in at 96.5.
okay, that's my
That
target.
long-term trend line
And
all the
I'm
way back from
sticking to it.
2011.
I'm
Yeah.
sticking to it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Hey, I know Steve is here. Steve's probably taking in all of these headlines, but before I ask Steve the question how he feels, I want to say, guys, this volatility that we're seeing right now, the best time to be a trader is right now. If you want instant funding, if you want to learn how to get funded, just go to Trader Funding Program. You can find it on Forex Analytix. We're running our spring into summer sale. It's only good till this weekend. So on Sunday, it's taken away. You 15% off instant funding, 25% off one-step assessments. So check it out. There's a video about it. If you want to, check out the video, you can just click on the link right there. Steve, how do you feel about what you've heard this morning from Donald Trump?
And
As
the
Kman
team.
likes to point, the orange hurricane.
I was probably mistaken. I was assuming that after a very, very, very failed attempt, gone really, really bad in a trade war, at least, he learned the lesson, and he wouldn't come back to it. Now, let's see if that is indeed the case, or there are just a couple of statements that will have no follow through, right? But I don't have to guess or assume, because we've already seen how that went the first time around. And it had nothing positive in the cards for the US. And nothing was achieved, by the way, so far. So I think it's like, playing with matches in a room full of TNT.
He likes that game.
That's a good analogy. Dale, how do you feel about that?
It's kind of a dangerous game. So, we have to be shepherds of our capital. And, on one hand, you say it's a great time to trade. It's also a great time to pick your spots. But you can never know about things like that. Actually, that makes it a little tougher. But as you can see, sometimes these bulges, look, Euro's already coming back 20, 30 pips. So, I think most of them are in the opportunities to fade. I wouldn't fade the S&Ps here, but the dollar, just go with your trend and what's happening, and then use these blasts to set
To
up
take
new
profits,
entries,
right?
or new entries, either
Yeah,
or.
yeah, and Dale, one of the things I love about the volatility is one of the greatest gifts for traders because it allows us to massage trades. You can find yourself mistiming, which we all do. I mean, I'm the king of selling and then selling something, and 50 pips later, I'm like, shit, I should have held on to it for another 50 pips, But
Yeah.
the volatility gives us time to and opportunities to massage trades. If they go against you, you have volatility where you can kind of ease out of a trade or ease into a trade. So that's the best thing about what it does for us. And George says, yeah, George said Trump makes profitable traders. You're right. Volatility, man. That's where we make hay while the sun is shining. And right now, the sun is shining with President Trump on traders. And whether you like him or you loathe him, he is giving us a hell of a lot of opportunities as traders. So take advantage of them. K-Man, as we go into the weekend, how do you feel about where you would be? You may just be going to cash, and I'm going to be probably trying to remove everything off of my board as we go into the weekend. But how do you think people should be positioned for a long weekend? I mean, this is a 3-day holiday, not only for the U.S. And by the way, we won't be broadcasting on Monday. None of our shows because it is a UK holiday as well. But how should people be positioned in going into this weekend?
Yeah, before I talk about that, Blake, are you planning to do the private shows or none at all?
No, none at all. On
Okay.
Monday,
Just,
yeah,
was
I'll
just
be
wondering
drinking beers
about
on at my pool.
that.
So,
But
Well,
Kay, if you really have a strong urge, I'm sure you could find a place to do a private show.
oh yeah, I'm
Over the
sure. I'm
weekend.
sure if you wanted to light up the morning ads,
Only fans with Kman.
only fans on with Kman.
yeah,
Anyway,
That's gross.
could be,
I,
But cool.
could be
I,
another revenue source.
yeah, Dale,
There you go.
I will
All
not
right.
do the pole
Okay.
dancing. Okay,
50%
I will
goes to me for the idea, obviously.
All right. Yeah.
Well, my overall view hasn't changed. I think short dollar bias should be still kept. But again, ahead of even just the weekend, we've now seen Trump's post, but there's also meetings going on between the one and the other.
G7, right?
Well, that's done. They brought out their statement, which was uninteresting and interesting at the same time. Interesting that they did not say anything else than the repeating the 2017 statement on FX. So should be decided by markets, free floating, no competitive devaluations, etc. And but the other thing, and there they came US way a little bit, is that they did include lines about reducing imbalances and trade imbalances.
Mm,
So that was an interesting line. But so they are done. No, but I think we we need to be mindful of any weekend now. We can open with gaps later on. So the only
sure.
thing I'm going to do is for sure not to go with full positions into the weekend and just reduce them, take the money that you have, and then
Yeah.
relax.
Start over Monday.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's
Nothing wrong with that.
the beauty of FX and the beauty of markets. Even if you miss one, is that you can still re-enter the next day.
Always another bus.
You know, I learned that a lot. When I was trading, when I was prop trading for Gelos and Spectrum, and these guys were constantly telling me, and these guys are, guys that had, been bank traders for, for decades, and they're like, they'd say the exact same thing that Kman's telling me, or telling you guys, excuse me. Like, look, we're traders and we can come back and reposition ourselves the next day. I'm like, oh, I want to hold on to the euro because I think the euro is going to 120. And they're like, great. If it's going to 120, just keep playing it on the long side till it gets there. And buy dips, sell rallies, and be done with it. And this way you don't have to have the exposure. Why sitting in it, And so
If you're if you're long from 105, 107, you can have this kind of thinking, obviously. But I know a lot of our viewers are shorter term traders, and that's why I'm saying, like, just be mindful of the gaps that we can have. And the secret to having good positions is to be able to take the next opportunity. And if you mess up your account over a weekend gap, you might not have the opportunity, and that would be the mistake.
You know what one of the beauties of this all is every time Ryan takes a holiday and he takes a day off for whatever reason, the markets move. And he's been doing it a lot, and we've been getting a lot of volatility. So it's been great. Doesn't it seem like every time he's out, he misses some big headlines like we're getting right now? So anyway, hey, just the euro rejected the 618 retracement at 113.75, underside of this channel. Pretty big resistance going into the weekend. I think while you're trading below 114, be very careful with euros. Just overall. Dale, I know you have a guest coming on, so I'm gonna just ask Steve really quick. Steve, you have any parting thoughts for traders at home?
I think the biggest development is the breakdown from the wedges in US equities. We had talked about an appealing short in US equities at the very beginning of the week, and it seems to be playing out. On the other hand, I don't think anything has changed with the dollar. The dollar remains under pressure. I'm also watching gold, which is approaching key resistance again. If we break through that, we're on our way to new highs. there as well. So the markets are moving again, which is a good thing. Now, don't lean too much into necessarily getting follow through to these headlines. Right. But you never know. It's going to be interesting.
Thank you, Steve. We got a little mixed reaction in the Canadian retail sales. The core sales came in a little weaker than expected, but the headline number came a little better, but the revisions also were mixed too. So dollar CAD's not really giving us much movement at all following the retail sales data.
Going to 34.
What's that?
I'm looking for about 35, 34.
You know,
big support zone here, down to 137.10-ish. Big support zone.
Yeah, and it's really divergent. Look at it intraday. Like I wouldn't want to be short just at this very moment. I don't know if I really want to be doing anything too. After the headlines we just got over the last hour.
Pull up a weekly. And Leo, please accept the invitation to be the president of ForexAnalytix for 30 minutes.
Woohoo! I'm gonna go take a break.
Look, you want
to go. I'm going on vacation.
You want to be long that candle. I can't do it. I can't do
Hell no. Yeah. I'm with you, Dale. That is an ugly, that's an ugly ass candle.
Failed right from 140 and going to that moving average.
Overall, it's like I really want to be short Canadian dollars. I really do, but man, while you keep seeing things like that, it's like that this is the kind of stuff that prevents me from being long the Euro Canadian, which I really want to be. But anyway, hey Dale, thank you for being our great guide and shepherd all week. You're awesome sauce.
Just call me Daniel Boone, man.
King
of the Wild Frontier.
Either that or the Pied Piper. I don't know.
King of the Wild Frontier.
And Kman, thanks for covering for Ryan. I know you guys will be back on Tuesday. Your analysis is always so amazing, and I was listening to the Flow Show this morning when it was just you, and it was great. So thank you so much, and Steve, it's great to hear your voice, and I'll see you on the Morning Edge, which is a private OnlyFans for Forex Analytics traders show, private show coming up in 45 minutes. So if you take advantage of the Liberation offer, you can also join the OnlyFans channel at Forex Analytics on the Morning Edge, right, Steve? Steve's going to get a little naked up there.
And you know what, Blake? I want to wish everyone happy Memorial Day. It is a solemn holiday, even though
it is.
Americans party their asses off on Memorial Day. You know, I think it's important this year that we think about people who made the ultimate sacrifice for centuries in our country, and that maybe we think about what they were fighting for and what we have now. So it might motivate some of us to start talking to each other again. And so that's my homily. I know I'm not the Pope. I'm just just a shortstop trader. But everyone have a great holiday, and just keep that in mind that people actually fought, and we don't want to lose what they fought for, do we?
No.
So, okay. Anyway, Leo, I think Leo's really an esoteric analyst, so I'm looking forward to talking to him. And Kman, Blake, and Ryan, if you're listening to our show while you're having a beer and a cigar, thanks for all your hard work this week.
Yes, Dale. Well said as well before.
Yeah, we all have the same mission to build up and identify traders every day. Mission accomplished. Vis-a-vis George Bush. All right, guys, have a good weekend. And Leo,
hi.
It's great to have you. It's nice to hear your voice. How have you been?
Nice. Glad to hear you. And I apologize for the last week. I just was confused with this lineup that was weekly, and I couldn't get the
right. Look, this is, we're human. We forget, and everything else. I looked at your stream. Okay, there it is.
Right.
These graphs.
Yes,
Why
I will.
is why is this happy Bitcoin's at new all-time highs before the reversal? Did you smell anything with your work
Yes,
that kind of gave you advance warning of a
reversal.
yeah,
Well, it's probably not a good time to talk about the reversal yet. We
okay,
need to get much higher for the reversal, or at least for pullback. The reversal I expect after we reach 200,000 or more, and
that's right.
it's going to be the reversal. But some pullbacks, normal pullbacks, could be along the way. We already have two big major pullbacks, quite
Yeah.
deep, and there could be some smaller. I don't expect the major one, another one. So we probably need to go something like. Let me show
Because you do
the idea.
time work. I mean, everything you do is based
It's
on time, isn't it?
definitely,
In a way.
definitely, it's a long time trends and cycles and long time analysis. It's not short time. And I have several nice predictions fulfilled this week, and this was the turning point when we
Yeah.
began this arc movement up, and we already reached the first target, and probably getting towards the second one.
Where's the top, time-wise? What year is it?
Yeah,
Next
the
year?
stop somewhere 220, 220-ish in this zone. In
How
this
about
zone.
time-wise
Time-wise, September, October, plus minus a month.
this year?
Yes, this year definitely, because
Okay.
we don't have much
And then
time
we
left.
start heading back down on the arc.
Right, because we need to reach this green zone in the summer of next year, 2026. It's in July, probably the mid-year next year. So in 1
Okay.
year, we have to go up and down. It's a very busy year, this one.
Okay. I
And
mean, I think I saw you even analyzing for short-term traders
well, let's
times of the day.
yes.
You had this uh, uh, photo up of these squiggly lines that were, I didn't understand them, but that you were actually identifying short-term time frames that are repetitive in Bitcoin
Uh-huh.
every day. Am I
N-
wrong? Did I
Not
read that wrong?
daily, not daily, but within few weeks, sometimes I draw some patterns like this, but it takes like a couple months.
Yeah,
It's still less certain, of course, and uh, I do some technical analysis for myself, and sometimes I publish it as well. And it has much less predictive power, or it could be broken at some
yeah,
point, and need to understand that the exact predictions don't work well. But at
yeah.
least we need to see the patterns, and
You're in the neighborhood.
right,
Nothing is perfect.
sure. So
Is
and
in your
that's
universe, is there anything perfect?
probably the longest waves I identified within the big waves. Like this is 4 year, and this like 1 year or a little less sub waves, secondary harmonics from the
Are,
bottom to the top, like 4 sub waves going in turns. And I found out that some of them weak. I call them weak, some strong, and they change the strength, and that's why
they have
last.
different character to them.
Yeah, and I was trying to explain to myself why the last cycle, the first peak was strong and the second was not that strong, even higher, but not that strong. But this time we have this first wave of the top area, let's say, very weak, but the second one I expect to be much stronger in this case.
Okay, can I there is one similarity.
Yeah,
I just wanted, do
yeah,
you
what
do
it is.
work with momentum at all?
In my own terms, not specific technique,
Okay.
not the standard techniques.
Can I, and I'm not saying that you can't go to 200, but I'm going to take the screen for a minute, okay?
Okay, sure.
Because I just noticed this yesterday and I want your reaction to it. So I'm going to take it. Okay. And I'm going here. And then I'm going to Bitcoin. All right, baby. There you are. All right, down 3 grand. Big reversal. But this is a chart that says that this could be a 5 or a final wave up. You see the weekly divergence from all the way back here?
Yes.
And then the last peak up here, but it was still over 80. Now we're making new highs, and it's a second non-confirmation on the weekly. And then look at this. The S&P had the same weekly divergences going on before it caved. So just a warning sign
right, for
that we're making new
divergence.
highs with less momentum.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? I'm going to
Well,
use the screen back.
well, I understand it's a strong point to this divergence and overbought territory. But I believe that right now Bitcoin is doing something different, and it's not completely dependent on the S&P 500. And
Oh yeah, I believe that.
yeah, and some strong funds also entering the field, and Bitcoin was in oversold territory for long, and it's broke down from my original wave, and it couldn't be kept so long.
Isn't this a dream for hodlers that the President of the United States, who could have known that, I mean, he's the first president I know to endorse any asset class besides, the war bonds. Okay, the presidents would come out and say buy war bonds, but they never came out and said buy the spider. You should have some gold. You should have some gold in your closet, and that's a pretty good sponsor for
Absolutely.
the instrument.
Yes, there is a difficulty for US dollar as well and bond market, and we kind of balancing between the general markets market instabilities and the attention turning towards cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
Okay.
At some point, it could be moving into opposite direction, like bankruptcies of the banks and also interest into Bitcoin at the same time. I believe that even in times of financial instability, Bitcoin will still keep going up.
Okay. What about when the CBDC is here?
Oh,
and we have a Fed coin? What happens to Bitcoin?
Well, I believe that the Trump administration decided to block this possibility, and they specifically mentioned that there will be no global CBDC in the U.S. And I see it as a good point. The rest
You may
of
have
the
said
world,
that they're moving ahead with it.
huh?
I see them talking about moving ahead with it. I know he said he was against it, but I
Yeah.
still think they're doing it.
Probably, and the other countries and Europe definitely they moving very fast towards this CBDC global currency reset. But that's why the Bitcoin was introduced, I believe, to fight this CBDC agenda. And
Okay.
the stronger we move towards CBDC, the stronger the demand for Bitcoin is. And we need to learn how to use it, not only store or buy or speculate, but also to use Bitcoin. I agree with Jack Dorsey on this. If we don't use it, then we lose the value and the purpose, the
Okay,
goal.
so you mean using it in like everyday life to
Yes,
pay for
for
things?
payments.
Yeah.
Probably it could be big transactions, but anyway, we need to use it outside of the exchanges and
Yeah.
ETFs.
Yeah. So yeah, that will give it a bigger push if people would, instead of using their credit cards, paid with Bitcoin. And I wasn't it you that said that there's no, I don't think it was, but there's this coin that pays you back you're spending your gold holdings. It's do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
It's actually backed by by gold as an asset.
yeah,
So
there are quite a few stable coins, including gold-backed stable coins.
yeah. Okay.
XAU, TER, for example, Tether, Gold, or others. And most of the stable coins, they now implement the government control and the program. They became programmable, and
I see.
they will support CBDC, I guess, or to be converted into CBDCs. But
Okay.
I believe that people will understand the difference between Bitcoin and CBDCs.
Okay. Yeah. I just I hear, that people are part of the reason people buy gold and alternative assets is to kind of have like a hedge, a plan for if things go south. And then they worry about like what happened in the 30s about confiscation of
Mm-hmm.
those assets.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the government doesn't have to pound at your door to come in and confiscate your assets. They have the ability to make them unusable.
Yeah, we already have the case when Tether blocked the accounts of one exchange in Russia, which the Garantex exchange, and they just blocked the accounts for Tether. So it happened already with Tether, and
Okay.
especially with EURUSD and USDC in Europe. They have in smart contract they have the capacity to be controlled by the government, blocked or subjected to some limitations.
Okay. Do you believe that the CBDC, when it comes, is going to be the only way you can conduct business, buy things, sell things?
They
And
want to, but there should be some. There are two possibilities of great reset. One reset is with this global monetary control currency,
yeah,
and another is like free currency. If Trump makes some new republic and new gold-backed dollar supported with cryptocurrencies and embed this freedom of transactions into this new currency. That will be in another way to do the global reset.
okay. All right.
Probably.
So this is how they uh, um, are able to manage debt is by changing the coins into different forms like this.
Right.
Is that part of it on the
Yeah.
reset?
Yeah.
Is it a
The
default, in fact, kind of?
yeah, default is also could be this triggering point. The um national default on dollars is
Yeah.
$36 trillion debt. If other countries stop buying bonds, it may collapse, and this could be one point some other black swan events they try to implement, like fake alien invasion, the war or new pandemic or new lockdowns. Anything can happen, but it will not last long. People learned the lessons, and the amount of disclosures coming in on X is amazing. People discuss everything: the the jobs, the vaccines, the UFO sightings, everything, and the corruption in the government, Malaysia Boeing strange disappearance, a lot of stuff, and it's all coming out, and people definitely will fight against any lockdowns or mandatory vaccinations this time.
Okay. So when do the aliens intercede before we blow ourselves up?
They told us that they will stop any World War III scenarios, so there will be no nuclear war or anything of this scale. But the other stuff, we need to fight ourselves, people.
Okay. So how many pizza days do you have a year?
Pizza days, yeah,
Oh, Leo, come on! I love pizza. How many times do you eat it a year?
uh,
How many pizzas can Bitcoin eat?
right now it can eat like
Quite a few.
thousands of pizzas, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of that story, and I know you've heard it about the
Yeah,
kid who paid for pizza with his Bitcoins when it was like $10 a coin or $5
it
a
was
coin.
the time when the pizza was purchased.
Oh, look, he's got it.
Yeah, the price of Bitcoin was like half a cent,
Oh, okay.
one
Wow.
Bitcoin. So
Wow.
that's probably the 44, the half a cent, and 10,000 Bitcoins worth like $50 or 40, 42, 44,
Yeah.
$47. This is the point when the pizza was purchased. And I have the power law starting with October 5th, and it approximates this data as well. It was
Yeah.
amazing time, definitely, and Bitcoin began to.
This is
This is
an
I checked the
amazing
transaction
time.
on online.
Yeah.
This is the block 57,043. The block, actual block, and
Yeah.
there is only one transaction. You see, this is the
Yeah.
pizza transaction, 10,000 bitcoins, and the
Okay.
fee was one Bitcoin. Yeah, this is the transaction fee, 0.99 Bitcoin, and the miner subsidy, 50 Bitcoins.
Yeah.
This is just the normal block that time.
Look, you're tweeting about it back then. Boy, I wish I would have known you then. Anyway, appreciate your interesting stuff, Leo. Really. So, I do hear though that CBDCs are going to run on the same blockchain technology. So there's
Right,
really
they fighting, they using the same technology, but not definitely not Bitcoin blockchain. Something
okay.
similar to XLR probably, or Tether, or sorry, uh, XRP, or its own proprietary central bank blockchain. They could develop their own because they want it to be global, and all the central banks will be using the same currency. They can create their own blockchain for this.
Just my thought when I heard your target of over 200 grand and it's going to be done by, I think you said January, right? Completed.
Yeah, and European government is planning to start in this fall the implementation of the CBDC. They already tested.
Okay.
They put them in line, everyone.
Huh.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the recent strategy which hits a lot of views and like 50K views. Um, People say about this strategy like by 500 days before halving sell, 500 days. I've just found out the optimal time, like 525, and it used to work pretty well.
Okay. Wow. So you give people a chance to manage it and take some profits, which is, it's not a profit till you take it.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Right.
mostly in the past. It's just a model.
Yeah.
We are modeling the past. It's not
Oh,
really that a good idea to project the future, but at least a starting point to consider. If it worked
yeah.
for 2 cycles already, 10 years, why not working a little longer for
Well,
us?
you know what? Your target, to me, even though you're correct, they're not identical. The correlation is not 100% with Nasdaq, but that tells me that we're also going to have a melt up in equities into that time frame. I think that's possible.
Yeah,
So
I usually the drawdown this the bear market for Bitcoin starts with some global
fine,
liquidity
right,
constraints or
right,
something can happen in the fall that will bring everything down,
right.
Bitcoin as well. That's
Okay,
why I think the cycles still work, and there is some internal mechanism for the cycles. I described it in several articles that there are stages. The bottom, when the miners hit the floor, the price cannot go below this line because it's below the miner's profitability, even though uh, right now the mining rewards very low, but everybody knows the cost, and this is the cost flow, and nobody
okay,
wants to sell below the cost. And
okay,
then it comes banana zone, the self-sustaining, self-fulfilling, and self-propelling acceleration of price, which brings everything up. News media, investors, and FOMO attitude, FOMO expectation bring
okay.
people into the market, and it goes straight up without major pullbacks. It used to
All
be
right.
here.
Well, God, if I really wanted to really dig deep into Bitcoin, learning from you, I think would take me there.
Yeah, this
So,
is my
yeah,
recent clock, Bitcoin
yeah,
clock.
that's what I was talking about.
Right.
Yeah, your clock.
Yeah,
So then
I'm
you identify times during the day, I think,
yes,
right?
definitely.
All
I'm
right,
basically I'm the first one to bring exactly the halvings into the clock, not the 4 year cycle, not some dates, but just the halvings. The Genesis block, first halving, second, third, and I bring it exactly aligned with the clocks. Like 3 o'clock is the one quarter, one half, 3 quarters. This is exactly aligned to the halving cycles. And on this clock, we see the tops, the green stars, or actually the bottoms, sorry. The
yeah,
bottoms, green stars, green for buy, good buy zone,
right.
and reds for the sell, good maxima. And they lie for 4:30 and 7:30. So I wrote just buy 3:30 in the morning, keep 9 hours, and sell 4:30 afternoon, and then relax. That's the strategy.
Who needs an Apple Watch
Yeah.
when you could have when you could have Leo's clock? I mean, Anyway, Leo, every time you're here, you amaze me with something. Really, I want to thank you for coming and
Thank you for the nice
sharing your
invitation.
work, and hope you have a great summer. We'll talk like around in August and see how things
Okay.
are playing out. And always find it very interesting to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dale.
Follow Leo on X at Leo Math Heart. And he has heart in there because a lot of the work that you saw doesn't all come from his head. It comes from his heart because the heart thinks too. Correct, Leo?
Absolutely correct. Thank you for
All
mentioning
right.
it. Right.
Anyway, so I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can learn from Leo. All right, buddy. Have a great weekend, Memorial Day. Everyone else out there, have a good holiday. Remember, don't just count your havings, count your blessings. And it's better to be happy with what you have than having what you want. And I'll see everybody on Tuesday, a 3-day weekend for the old warrior here. I could use it. I really could use it. Okay. Everyone have a great weekend. Thanks again, Leo.
Thanks.
And adios till next time, cowboys.